Hey, Facebook. Whew. Go ahead and log in from my page. Just kind of turned to the side a little bit. There we go. I'll give it a few minutes to see who pops in. Okay, I think I have one viewer on. Cool Beans up two. Okay, Cool Beans, you guys are popping in. I know my vets know the process at this point. If you're new to tuning into my broadcast, please feel free to type newbie in the comments. And if you're a vet and you've been hanging with me for a bit, go on and type vet in the comments so I know you're here. And this is to allow me to say a proper thank you. Ooh, I got this little hair flying around. This is to allow me to say a proper thank you for joining my broadcast, because you could be anywhere doing anything right now and you're on here with me, and I appreciate it. Hey Kiki, hey Pam, hey Coach Pam, thanks for joining. If you guys are vets, please, there you go. Thank you, Pam. Please put that in the comments. And if you're new, catching my broadcast for the very first time, please feel free to put in the comments newbie, so I will know that you are new to my broadcast, and allow me to give a proper thank you towards the end, or when I log back on to check my comments. So please comment newbie if it's your first time joining, and vet if you've caught my broadcast before. Ooh, my hair is just not doing the right things tonight. Mercy. Hey Kiki, thanks for joining. I hope you all had a pleasant Wednesday. We've made it to the middle of the week. Survived, right? It was a gorgeous day in Virginia Beach today. I don't know how it is where you guys are. Hey Becky Blake, thank you so much for joining. And you know the rules, Becky. If you're a vet, put comment in the comments that you're a vet. And because I don't want to miss anybody. You know, the names that you joined scroll across the screen so fast, and as you can tell, I already have 4 eyes. But even with that, I don't catch all the names. So please comment if you're new or if you're a vet in the comments, so I can be sure to say thank you, because I do appreciate you popping in, because tonight's going to be a good one, guys. And for those that didn't catch me last night, I hadn't been on in a week. During the month of May, I did a broadcast every night to bring awareness to mental health, because May was Mental Health Awareness Month. So my broadcasts gave tips on how to boost your mental health. And it was exciting. You know, it was challenging. You know, keeping the commitment when I was on travel and, you know, other things. But I made a commitment to show up for you guys every day. And I was excited to meet that commitment. But I had to take a week off to get my mind right. But also to really hone in on what I wanted to share with you guys from this point forward. So I popped back on last night, and I will show up on my Facebook Live, on my personal page, on Tuesday and Wednesday nights at 9. So you can pencil that in, Tuesday and Wednesdays at 9 on my personal page. In my Facebook group, Authentic, Vulnerable, and Free, I will pop in there on Thursday evenings. And that group, sorry guys, it's only for the ladies. So that group is only for the ladies. So it'll be a little bit more personal in a closed environment. So if you're not a member, please feel free to join. Authentic, Vulnerable, and Free is the Facebook group. And I will be broadcasting there on Thursdays at 9. But from my page on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 9. You got it? If you got it, give me a thumbs up if you got it. Or give it back, because you might not be on your cell phone. So if you got it, give me a number 1. And I know we're all tracking on the same page. Hey Griff, thanks for joining. My web developer. Hey Tammy, thanks for joining. And again, if it's your first time catching my broadcast, put newbie in the comments. But if you're a vet, you already know what to do. Go ahead and put vet in the comments. Hey, thank you Kiki, you got it. Awesome. So tonight, I want to talk about when you understand your no. Now, I started off last night talking about you know, understanding your boundaries, right? And living my life and being comfortable with the decisions that I've made, whether good or bad, I own them, right? Because my goal, and I hope it's your goal too, is to have your personal life and your professional life synced, right, for success. Because it doesn't make sense. Well, let me put it another way. You won't live your full life if you only have success in one area and not the other, right? If your personal life is off the chain and doing great, but your personal life is not going so well, you may feel out of balance. And it's the same with your professional life. If things at home aren't going too well and you choose to focus the energies in your business or your work or your career, you still got to come home at the end of the night. So your life is not balanced. And it can lead to the things we talked about last month with mental health, right? It can lead to anxiety, stress, and other factors. And we want to avoid all of that. Because at the end of the day, our goal is to what? Live our best life. So I actually had a conversation with a relative today, and we were talking about saying no to people. And, you know, that's something that I don't have a lot of problem with. But it's not that I mean. It's not that I mean. Trust me, it's not that I mean. It's just over the past few years, I've learned to be comfortable with myself and to really dig deep to know what works for me. Can anybody relate to that? So I'm not going to say saying no is easy, right? It's never easy. But when you understand why you're saying no, that makes it a lot easier to do. So, for example, I had a friend when I first moved here. Gosh, I've been in Virginia almost 20 years. Can't believe it. So when I first moved here, I had a friend that had family move here from out of town. And it was the daughter, and I think she had 4 kids. And my friend was married, and she had a couple of kids. And, you know, when she came here, kind of similar to me, it allowed her to kind of live the life she always wanted to live, right? But she moved here from up north as well. And I guess when her family back home saw how well she was doing, they were like, wow, you know, we need to come down here and, you know, get some of this too, right? Get some of this Virginia Beach goodness. So she allowed the family member and her kids to come live with her. However, she didn't put any boundaries in place. At the time, she contemplated saying no, but thought, what would everyone think of me? What will my family say? What will she think of me? I think that's something we all kind of struggle with sometimes, right? So she let her come. Fast forward 3 years, she was evicted from her home. Excuse me, let me rephrase that, because evicted is when you're renting. She owned a home. They foreclosed on her home. And she couldn't carry the cost of 5 additional people to her home, and her relative had never, you know, wasn't able to get gainful employment or anything like that. So she wound up moving into a hotel, like a motel type of thing, and it was just nuts for her for a while. And unfortunately, her marriage fell apart. It just wound up being as crazy as you can imagine. Yeah. And, you know, later on, of course, after all the dust settled, she realized that while she wanted to help her family member, not establishing boundaries when she came was her mistake. And understanding that if those boundaries were too much for her relative, then her answer just should have been, no, you can't come. And it was really clear for her to realize that after the fact, but it costed her so much to come to that realization. You know? I don't know if any of you guys have been in that situation, but it's a tough one. You know, what do you do when you have someone that you love that needs you, right? But then you don't know if you're able to truly be a help, or will helping them hurt you? Like, what do you do? And it's almost like balancing compassion for yourself with compassion for someone else. Like, what do you do, and where do you draw the line? And that's where understanding your no is important. Because in order to understand why you're saying no, you have to understand yourself, and you have to understand your reasons, and you have to really dig deep to know who you are. Because regardless, in those type of situations, it's never a win-win. Somebody's always going to lose. So you have to be comfortable with where you are when you give your answer, and you have to be comfortable with the results or consequences of those answers. That makes sense? That makes sense? Give me some feedback. Let me know if that makes sense to you. I mean, I've been in that situation, and I've been the person, you know, and I'll admit it, I've been the person that's had to sleep on somebody's couch. I've been that person, you know, and it's not easy when you're on that end and you need someone to give you that helping hand, right? And it's also not easy when they have to tell you, I wish I could help you, but I can't. As Kiki say, I always let them know that it's not that I don't want to, but helping will put me in a compromising position. If they have a heart, they will understand that, because they won't do it either. If it hurts, I can't see the rest. If it hurts their household. I get that, and while that's true in some cases, there are times when sometimes they don't understand. You know, take for example when, let me find a nice way to say this. Sometimes when you struggled, right? And like I said, moving here, I was able to create a different life for myself. So when people are in a certain position and they see that you have a home, or you have a car, you know, or that you have these things, to them that equates to money. To them that equates to you being in a position to help. You understand what I mean? Especially when they're not in that position. So sometimes even when you explain it to them, because they're not in the same financial situation, I guess Ginger agrees, I don't know if you heard my dog back there, they don't always get it. You know what I mean? It also depends on who it is and what they need help with too. If you choose not to get a job, then I'm not responsible for that. Okay, well, that's true. But then, you know, again, I think that's where boundaries come into place. You know, when I came here, I moved with my cousin when I came here, and it was me and my daughter, and I was in a really, really, really bad place. I was in a bad marriage and had to get away, had to escape. And fortunately, I was able to come here and stay with my cousin, you know. But when I talked to her, I made it clear, I'm only going to be here for X, Y, Z. Her being who she is with her big heart, you know, she was like, stay as long as you need, do what you know, it's okay. But I did what I could to get out, you know, because that's just who I am. I don't want to stay on somebody else's couch. I want to have my name on a lease or a deed. But not everyone's that way. And if you don't put parameters in place or boundaries in place in your life, in any situation, you know, it can cause things to spiral. Where you think you're helping, it can really damage the relationship, you know? Most people are not like you. Okay, well, for those that aren't, that's when you need boundaries. You know what I mean? And sometimes you don't even realize how a person will react until they're in that situation and they're in your house and it's too late. Which is why when you know who you are and you establish those boundaries on the front end, it alleviates Stress, it alleviates confusion, it alleviates issues on the back end. Yes, you must establish the end game in the beginning. I agree, Tammy. You have to establish it in the beginning. And what's tough sometimes when you're not the one going through the issue, when you're not the one that's in need and you can think clearly, it can sometimes be construed as being insensitive when you want to sit down and kind of work it out. You know what I mean? But when you're comfortable with who you are and you understand your no, you won't allow yourself to be kind of led down a path to make a decision that you know you shouldn't make. Hey Anna, thanks for joining. Kiki said, I'm sorry, son, just came home from work and needs to talk with me. Love you, sweetie. Catch you later. Okay, that's cool, Kiki. Thanks for joining, honey. Appreciate it. And for the folks that just joined into the broadcast, thank you for joining. If it's your first time watching, please put newbie in the comments so I can be sure to thank you. Because, you know, you could go by too fast and I might not catch it. And if you're a vet, you already know the rules. Go on in and type vet in the comments so I can thank you as well, because I appreciate you guys spending your time with me tonight. You could be doing anything else. So, the importance of understanding your no. When you're presented with a situation, don't look at it as you being a hard, you know what. Don't look at it as, you know, you having to give tough love. Don't look at it as you having to, you know, put your foot down, because all of those statements have negative connotations to them. And it's not a negative thing to set boundaries. It's not a negative thing to establish, you know, your perimeter. That's not a negative thing. You know, it's a positive thing. And I think when you say things like, you know, oh, I'm putting my foot down, or, you know, oh, that's it, I'm drawing the line. It has a negative connotation to it. And that's not the case, especially when you understand why you're saying no. So you can be compassionate. Hey, thanks, Anna. Thank you for joining my newbie, for watching the broadcast. So you can say no comfortably when you know who you are and you're comfortable with the decision. Like if you just say no just because, then, you know, that's a whole nother conversation. Thank you, Atara, for coming into the room with hearts. Love it. Thank you so much. And Janice, I saw you sneak in there too. Yes, boundaries, exactly. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, Anna. You can set clear boundaries with people, but in order to set clear boundaries, you have to really cycle back into understanding who you are and being clear with who you are and why you've made the decisions you've made. So then when others push back or others get upset, you can kind of stand your ground and know, you know, that you did absolutely nothing wrong. Hey, I just logged in and caught the chat. Hey, Shannon, I'm sorry. I didn't give you a heads up. I apologize. Thank you so much. Thank you. Is that Coach Pam with those hearts? Love it. Thank you, guys. So, to recap, when you say no, it's okay. It's okay. Yes, no is powerful. No is a statement. No doesn't even need a whole lot of explanation. You tend to feel like you need to have an explanation for no when you're not clear on why you're saying it in the first place. When you're not clear on why you're saying no. Oh, thanks, Patricia. Thank you for joining. When you're not clear on why you're saying no, you'll feel the need to explain it. When you're confident in why you're saying it, and you're clear that it's coming from a place of love, and you're clear that there's no malice in it, you don't have to. You don't feel the need to explain it because you're confident in it. Oh, Tammy says, Why Tammy? What does that mean? I like no, even when people want to call you mean for doing so. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about, Shannon. When you understand your no, you kind of don't give into the response that you're being mean. Yes, and you have to be very clear on why, which is why you have to understand your no. You have to understand your no. You have to understand the root of your no as well, which is a whole totally different topic. You have to understand the root of your no. Is your no rooted in negative feelings? You know, did this person do something to you in the past, and now that they're in a position of need, those old feelings are stirring up? And the reason you give yourself is not really the true essence of your no? Is your no rooted in guilt for something else that occurred? Oh, Tammy said I let that comment sink in. Good stuff. Okay. So you have to think about your no. Oh, hey, Thomas. Thanks for sneaking in. Hey, you know the rules. If you're a vet, type vet in the comments. You too, Atara. I saw you sneak in there, too. If you're a vet, type vet in the comments. And if you're a newbie, type newbie, so I can make sure to thank you all after the broadcast, because I appreciate you being here. So you have to be clear, not only on why you're saying no, and understand yourself and have a clear understanding of who you are, to make sure that there's nothing rooted in it. To make sure there's nothing underlying in it. Because sometimes we don't even realize when we're doing it. I know I've done it. And later on when I thought about it, I was like, wow, you know, I gave that response and I said no, but it wasn't for the right reason. Okay, Atara, thanks for checking me. So, hey, thanks for joining, Adrian. You know, I've had to check myself on that before. I've said no and later on realized that the root of my no was for some other stuff that I hadn't dealt with, that I needed to deal with. You know, so understand your no, but to truly understand why you're saying no in a situation, examine the root. And you have to do that by being honest with yourself of who you are and taking some self-examination. Otherwise, you'll either one, say no to something and your no is coming from a not so good place, or you'll say yes, you'll be pressured into saying yes to something that you have absolutely no business saying yes to. And how many of us have done that before? How many of us have said yes for things that we have absolutely no business at all agreeing to? Am I the only one? I don't think so. Exactly. Shannon raises her hand. Yeah. So when you kind of dig deep and get a clear understanding of who you are and what your purpose is, because you can't even identify your purpose until you peel back the layers and be honest with yourself about who and where you are. That's the first thing you have to do. Peel back the layers and be truthful with yourself about what you see, what you like, and what you don't like. And you got to do that before you can even get on the path to your purpose, before it's even clear. Because if not, you wind up going like this instead of allowing your path to be clear and straight. And then once you do that and you're put in situations where you have to make decisions and give clear boundaries to people, you can feel confident in it without feeling like it's something negative, without feeling like I had to put my foot down, like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that you have boundaries. That's a great thing. So that means you understand who you are and you're able to stand on that. So that's a great thing. Right? So I just wanted to jump on tonight and kind of share that with you guys about understanding your no. And the importance of understanding your no. And then digging deep to the root of it. Okay? I'm so glad to be back on Facebook Live with you guys and chatting. You guys are amazing. Again, I'm Audra Upchurch, and I will be here with you guys Tuesday nights at 9, Wednesday nights at 9, and I will be in my Facebook group at 9 on Thursday evenings. I'm glad that I'm okay with you saying no. Yep, I don't want to say yes and be miserable. I hate living with boundaries. It allows more peace. I love living with boundaries. Honey, there is so much peace in the boundaries. There's peace and happiness and freedom. Peace and happiness and freedom and boundaries, girl. I love it. Love it. Love it. Oh, you're welcome, Adrian. Thank you. And thank you guys. Thank you, Atara, for the hearts. You rock. So I'll be on my Facebook Live page. I'm back Tuesdays, Wednesdays at 9 o'clock. I will be on Facebook Live in my group, Authentic, Vulnerable, and Free, on Thursdays at 9. That group is for ladies only, and we get a little bit more personal there. So you're welcome to join me there, or I'll see you here on Tuesday and Wednesday. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye.